Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and today we'll be talking about an absolute beginner's guide to Genius Invocation TCG, the new Genshin Impact TCG card game in 3.3. Now I'm just doing a random match with an NPC just to earn some coins, and I'm just going to be covering the basics in this tutorial, and I'll be going more into more advanced tips and tricks as well as strategy in future videos. Now, you start off the match the moment you enter the game into this starting hand, and you have a set of 5 cards which you drew, and you can click on them, and as you can see these X's here, you can actually send them back into the deck. For the sake of this illustration, I'm not going to be determining which is good and bad cards, we'll leave that for another video. I'm just going to go ahead and shuffle all of them back into the deck, just for illustration purposes. Now once you have your set of cards, the next step is for you to select your active character. Over here we have 3 characters, the default, Diluc, Kea, as well as Sucrose. And in this mode, we want to select one character to be in front, and the other 2 characters won't be able to act unless you switch them out and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and select Kea to be the starting character.
Ready when you are.
So once you select your starting character, you will then roll what is called the energy or elemental dices. So once you get your rolls, you can actually send these dice back into the deck. And how you want to do it is, if you know that you have a Pyro character, a Nemo character, and a Cryo character, you want to keep this Nemo and Cryo dices because they are able to be used by those characters later on. This special element you see is an Omni element, which represents any element. This is something like a all element card. So I'm going to go ahead and send Hydro as well as Geo back because I don't have much use for them. And this rerolling is free, and you only get it once per round that you roll. So okay, a pretty decent starting hand with only one odd color, and the rest of them can be used by my team. Now, in this battle phase, what I'm going to be showing you is how am I going to convert these elemental dice over to a particular element. So if my active character is Cryo, I can actually take a card. Because this is a spear, I don't need it for any of my characters, none of them uses a polearm. I can go ahead and bring it over to this right hand side and drop it here, and it automatically selects this Cryo element and will tune this to Cryo. So in a sense, cards in your hand can be used to change these to a certain element. Of course, you will run out of cards later on, and I'll explain it slightly later, but cards are a resource in which you can also use this elemental energy. And now that we've touched on this elemental energy, let's go ahead and use it and see what this actually does. So we are going to use our active character right here. And over here you see the 3 action items that you can do. Of course you can play cards in your hand, but let's talk about this first. So he can normal attack, which will cost you 1 cryo energy and 2 other energy cards, or 3 cryo energy to use an elemental skill. And both actions will lead to charging up these 2 boxes right here, which will give you an option to use his elemental burst later on. So now we're going to go ahead and use his elemental skill because it does exactly 3 damage to kill off this Helitro here.
Freeze.
So once your action ends, the opponent will take an action. Now this whole thing I would consider as one entire round, but each round has many different action turns, like kind of like a sub round within the whole round, and you won't be able to get new energy or new cards within one turn. So now this is the second sub turn that you have, and as you can see, the energy that you used in the past is carried over. Right now I see here that I have 3 Anemo energies, so I'm going to go ahead and teach about switching right now. So for example, now Cryo, I can't really use much except normal attack with Kea, and I don't really want to do that. I might as well use this Anemo energy, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Sucrose right here and click on this icon, this bottom right, to switch Sucrose into the active position. This will spend 1 energy which we selected as the Pyro energy just now, and as you can see, you can't just freely switch around. And when you do this switching, it's actually considered a combat action, which means after you switch in, the opponent immediately gets to attack or use his turn. But as you can see, the NPC didn't decide to use any action cards, possibly because there isn't any on their hand. So now that it's Sucrose's turn, and we are probably going to use this last 3 elemental energy, I'm going to go ahead and show you what cards can do. So for example, different cards have different reactions, and let's say we had this changing shift cards, which actually says we actually need to spend 1 less elemental die, which means that if I've casted this first, we can actually save on that pyro energy not being used. I'm just going to use it for the sake of demonstration. Now that we have used that, let's use this elemental skill on this Lavature here.
Stand clear.
So different cards and different characters have different effects. For example, this Sucrose's elemental skill forces the unit to move to another character. So as you can see, the Electro Slime is actually being selected instead. And now, in this first turn that we have, of course there are many sub-turns, we are now out of elemental energy and cards in your hand can be carried over to the next round. So right now I'm just going to think, do I want Sucrose to be in a starting position for the next round so that I can use up this energy? And I actually prefer, maybe let's give Diluc a chance to shine as well. So I'm going to be switching to Diluc for the next round because it takes up a combat turn. And because we have one free action, this amount doesn't disappear. So we just look at our hand, is there anything we can use? And nothing that we can really equip onto a unit to give up this. So we're just going to go ahead and end our turn with this Hourglass here. So any energy that is left over is going to be wasted. So this is the end of one turn, and at the start of every new turn you get 2 new cards in your hand. And as you can see now, the opponent starts this first sub-turn to take action first. And we do this rolling again, and I'm just going to go ahead and slot in the elements that I don't have to reroll. You can only do this once per roll turn. So now, I'm going to show you about playing cards. So for example, this card here allows me to draw 2 more cards, and I'm going to just play it here, and it requires me to sacrifice 1 energy. Now this is an equipment card where it allows me to actually have the effect of spending 1 less cryo dice per round for a character that uses this card. I'm going to go ahead and equip this on Kea right here. And as you can see, it automatically selects 2 elements to use. So I've spent about 3 energy just by playing cards, and I only have 5 energy left to act. And now I'm going to go ahead and actually... And now I'm actually just going to go ahead and use an attack from Diluc onto this Electro Slime here. And here, if you can see here, his attack here is supposed to do only 3 damage. But because of this overload reaction, it actually increases to 5 damage. And you will see once I hit this Electro Slime with Pyro, you will have the overload reaction appearing right above. Different elemental reactions also have different effects, and we will go a bit more in depth in those in later subsequent videos for more intermediate players. But this video is really to just help us get started right now. So as you can see, because of the effect of the equipment that he has, he actually is able to use this skill which normally would have required 3 elemental energy. So I'm just going to go ahead and normal attack. And now his burst is activated for Kea, and we can use it in the next turn. And we're going to go ahead and end our turn because we are out of elemental energy to take action. So now that he has charged up his full energy, I'm going to demonstrate what Elemental Burst looks like, which requires you to have the max gauge charged up.
Oh, so sorry. This doesn't look good. I can do it.
So this this burst ability from Kea is every time you switch, you will be able to do damage to an opponent. And do like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. I'll be going more in depth in terms of tips and tricks and more advanced level of play. I used to play trading card games competitively when I was younger, like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Duel Masters as well. So I'll definitely be able to share pretty good tips for you guys to learn. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.